Hello and welcome to Finding New Films, Self Tapes, the new show. This show is basically the same thing as Finding New Films, the regular shows that come out on Friday, but this is going to be a solo show that's just me. So, isn't that fun? My name's Hunter Harris. I am the host of Finding New Films, and I'm now the host of Finding New Films Self Tapes as well, given that I am the host of the lineal show, the real show, if you will. But, nevertheless, say that word too much, I am bringing this to you guys because basically I just want to watch more movies. I want to do more work. I love editing so much. No, really, I do love watching movies, and there are some movies that I really just don't want to even suggest to people because they're kind of embarrassing. I'm joking. But this is gonna be more for like the obscure movies. Kind of. I don't know. It's just gonna be like extra shit, basically. So these will come out on Mondays. Today, as you're watching this, it could be Memorial Day. That's the day it'll be coming out, is on Memorial Day. I don't know if you'll be watching it on Memorial Day, but nevertheless, that day. uh, So if you saw the backdoor pilot, I don't know why I just blanked out right there. The backdoor pilot episode 21 that came out Friday, that was the technical first episode of this show. So when we go to the list, Lost in Translation will be on this list. But if you didn't see that, if you didn't see the technical first episode, that is over there on that feed. If you look at them on any podcasting platform, and even it'll be like this on YouTube, there will be a line after the episode, like who's in the episode or like what the episode's name is, and then there will be like what the show is. So the main show that comes out Friday will say FNF. This show will say FNF Self Tapes. Yeah. And I meant to do this in the Lost in Translation at the end of the video. I was going to announce that there is another show coming as well. That is just another edition of Finding New Films, and it's going to be Finding New Films at the movies. It's so funny to me that movies, you can say like I'm going to the movies, and people are like, oh yeah, you're going to go to the theater and watch a movie, but I couldn't say like I'm going to the films. People would think you're stupid. I love that. I love that that's just a thing. But nevertheless, Finding New Films at the movies will be a once a month show that we're going to do because those tickets are expensive as fuck and I'm not rich. Or even close to middle class. Anyway, we are going to be going to the movie theaters to watch some fun movies, and the first episode will be me and Trevor, and we will be reviewing Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which I thought was, you'll have to find out. First Marvel movie on Finding New Films, and it won't even be on the real show. It'll be on a spin-off. But yeah, and all these shows are going to come out on the Finding New Films feed, so you won't have to go anywhere else. It'll be this logo, so just look for the blue logo if you're looking for the self-tapes, which you won't be. And if you're looking for the real thing, look for the black logo with the octagon on it. That's the real Finding New Films. The one you're looking for, at least. I don't know why I'm roasting this show so hard. I haven't even started it yet. But yeah, hopefully you can see that logo. I had played with the camera earlier, and I could see it when I was looking at it earlier, and I don't know if it's messed up now, but if it is, fuck me, right? But anyway, I'm going to read this plot synopsis, and I'm going to read the credits, and I'm going to read some themes, and then I'm going to talk about my opinion, and that's going to be the end of the podcast. But there will be a break in the middle, and yada. Anyway, so The Wrestler was released in 2008 by the company, or distributed by the company Fox Searchlight, which is pretty cool. They're a pretty cool company. That's it. Runtime of the movie was an hour and 49 minutes, or an hour and 49. Did I say that? I think I did say that. I think I said an hour 49 and then corrected myself. Hour and 49 minutes. And the writer of the movie is Robert Siegel. The director is Darren Aronofsky. The editor is Andrew Weisblum. The music in the film was done by Clint Mansell. Camera work was done by Maurice Alberti. The star of the film was Mickey Rourke, and his co-stars were Marissa Tomei and Evan Rachel Wood, as well as many others, but I don't want to read their names because I'm lazy. Plot is as follows. I'm going to drink some water before that, just so I don't choke. Isn't that cute? Anyway, professional wrestler Robin Ranzimski, better known by his ring name Randy the Ram Robinson, rose to fame in the 1980s. Now past his prime, Randy wrestles on weekends for independent promotions in New Jersey while living in a trailer park and working part-time at a supermarket under Wayne, a demeaning manager who mocks Randy's wrestling background. As a regular at a strip club, Randy befriends a stripper named Cassidy who, like Randy, is past her prime. After winning a local match, Randy agrees to a proposed 20th anniversary match with his most notable opponent, the Ayatollah, which Randy hopes could return him to stardom. Randy intensifies his training, which includes steroid injections. After wrestling a hardcore match, Randy suffers a heart attack backstage and undergoes coronary artery bypass surgery. His doctor informs him that he nearly died and he has to stop taking steroids, and also warns Randy not to wrestle anymore, as his heart can no longer handle the exertion. Reluctantly, Randy decides to retire and begins working a full-time shift at the supermarket's deli counter. At Cassidy's suggestion, Randy visits his estranged daughter Stephanie, whom he had abandoned when she was a child, but she rebuffs him. While helping Randy buy a gift for Stephanie, Cassidy reveals that she has a son. Randy makes romantic advances towards her, which she rejects on the grounds of her job. Later, Randy gives the gift to his daughter and apologizes for abandoning her. The two bond over a visit to Beachfront Boardwalk, where he often took her as a child, and agrees to meet for dinner on the coming Saturday. Randy goes to Cassie's strip club to thank her, but she once more rejects him, resulting in a heated exchange. Upset, Randy goes to a wrestling match and finds solace in wrestling friends. While at a bar with them, he gets drunk, snorts cocaine, has sex with a woman in the woman's restroom, then wakes up in her bedroom the next morning. Exhausted, he sleeps the entire day and misses his dinner with Stephanie. He goes to her house to apologize, but she angrily tells him she hates him and never wants to see him again. At the deli counter, a patron recognizes Randy as the wrestler. Though he denies it, the customer persists, which agitates Randy, who then cuts his own hand on the slicer and promptly quits on the spot. Going into a rampage in the store while insulting Wayne and the customers, spurred by the fans' recognition of him and with nothing left, Randy decides to return to wrestling and reschedules the rematch with the Ayatollah. He reconciles with Cassidy, who has just quit her job, though she begs him not to wrestle because of his heart condition and pleads with him to cancel the match. However, Randy disregards her advice, explaining to her that he belongs in the ring with his fans and fellow wrestlers who love and respect him. As he wrestles, Randy begins to feel chest pain and becomes unsteady. Noticing this, the Ayatollah urges him to initiate the pin and end the match. Randy refuses, however, and climbs to the top rope for his finisher, a diving headbutt called the Ram Jam. He looks over and sees Cassidy has left. As the crowd cheers his name, Randy, with tears in his eyes, leaps from the top rope. And that is The Wrestler. Pretty wide open ending. Pretty wide open ending. He kind of just jumps off the top rope and it goes black. And that's about it. Pretty interesting. We'll get into that later. The themes that I picked up on, and there are plenty. These are just a few. I have arrogance, beauty of simplicity, courage, circle of life, desire to escape reality, disillusionment and dreams, displacement, feeling of emptiness, facing reality, faded beauty, familial tension, fate and free will, fear of failure, heroism, real and perceived, identity crisis, injury, losing hope, lost honor, lost love, names, their power and significance, the necessity of working, optimism, power and folly, the power of actions, the power of silence, the power of words, pride and downfall, sacrifice for art, self, inner and outer, self-reliance, temporary nature of physical beauty, temptation and destruction, vanity is downfall, vulnerability of the strong, war, glory, necessity, pain, and tragedy of it, the will to survive, and working class struggles. Everybody's favorite, working class struggles. I feel like that did a pretty wide-ranging job of nailing the themes for this movie. And there, I feel like I think that might be like the most I can figure out real quick. Actually, how many there are? I had 37 right there. That's fucking insane. Wild. Anyways, that's definitely the most I've ever written down. But they were all in there. Just awesome. Really enjoyed this movie a lot. I didn't say what my inspiration for this movie was. My inspiration for this movie is the fact that I love wrestling. I've loved wrestling since I was a kid. Stopped liking it for a little while in the in-between when I found out it was scripted. I had like an identity crisis. And then like last year, I like fell back in love with it, and now I like fully understand it now that I'm not like a complete mark, just buying everything that they sell. But yeah, now that I am back into wrestling, big AEW fan. WWE doesn't really do it for me anymore, but big AEW fan. So that was my biggest reason I wanted to watch this movie, just because it's about a wrestler. But further than that, Darren Aronofsky directed the film, and then further than that, Mickey Rourke was nominated for an Academy Award for his performance in this movie. So a lot of things to kind of draw you into this movie, surface level, and then when you go deeper, this movie really is that good, and I really enjoyed it a lot. The opening collage scene with all of the newspapers detailing how great this guy was, and all these headlining uh, papers and flyers and stuff like that. It really was it didn't have a great effect to show you who this guy was, really introduced you to him before you've even met him, at least on screen. And I just really enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was super effective, and it was just a great choice by both writer and director on that one. Moving on from that, him getting lowballed on his pay while he's having to sit in a daycare. It was really tough to watch as a wrestling fan. It kind of really hits you with the harsh reality of, of these indie shows that we love so much. And, yeah. And then him leaving the venue, and that child basically wanting him because he's got a signature type of thing, Pretty sad. Just that no humanity is found. Just kind of sad. I have this recurring thing that seems to be happening to me where in finding new films or in self tapes now, I just have one reference that really has no reference to anything. And this one I have written down, "God damn it, Lenny," and I'm sure that has, some context somewhere in the movie. I'm sure that's not just like some random thing I wrote down. I'm sure of it, but at the same time, I don't. I have no recollection of why. So that is the line for this one. Moving on from that, I really like the enjoy, or sorry, I really like the enjoy. Great sentence there. I really enjoyed the scene where they talk through their spots, and I do believe that it is the death of wrestling kayfabe. The idea that the wrestlers enforce that it is in fact real, fully real, like to the extreme back in the day where they would fight you if you suggested that it was scripted or fake in any way. Because you had to protect that belt. That was the world's heavyweight champion. And then as the years have gone along, it's become less and less important to the people performing, and honestly, less and less important to the fans. They don't really care. Which I feel like has kind of resulted in wrestling becoming more dangerous for the wrestlers involved, but nevertheless, that is basically what kayfabe is, for anyone who didn't know. And I just feel like it's the death of kayfabe in the way that I don't know that any wrestling fan ever really needed to see two wrestlers talking through what they're going to do in a match, or how they want to hit their beats or anything like that. It's been spoken about in podcast interviews. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm like ignorant to that or anything like that. But to see a movie, and having people act it out, it was just a little bit more jarring than I was really expecting it to. To be more jarring than I expected it to be. But yeah, I don't know. It was just, it really, it was just more, I guess, another reality check in the movie. In that it did have another great effect. Really keyed you into the behind the scenes of wrestling and how guys interact with one another, and it's all the mutual respect. None of these guys are like super big friends. I make a bigger point about that later on, I'm pretty sure. So I might just save that for then. But you can kind of tell from this like first one scene of, them talking through their spots and this, that, and the other, that they're not friends. They know each other. They're acquaintances. They're co-workers. But friends? Maybe some of them, And that's kind of what you get from this movie about the way that they interact with each other, which I think is very accurate. It was really well done, which along with most of the stuff in this movie, so no complaints with that. Yeah. I have this note that says he is cheered in his professional life, but he's ridiculed in his He is cheered in his professional life, but ridiculed in his personal life. That could be what causes him to chase such a high. Probably. Probably past Hunter because, I think I think this guy I don't think this guy ever really had a great life. And it doesn't touch on his parents or his upbringing or any of that. Kind of more touches on the situation that he's put himself in rather than the situation that he's come from. So you don't get to empathize with him in that way of knowing where he's been. You just kind of have to accept him for where he is. And that's something ultimately his daughter and then Cassidy cannot do, which I imagine is a common theme throughout his entire life. So, I can imagine how if you have such a nature of self-sabotage that, and self-indulgence, that you, sorry, there's a moth in my house and I am staring at it now. That's a massive moth. God damn it. Anyway, sorry for the GD. To any family watching. But nevertheless, Jesus. That's gonna freak me out now. I found a fucking mouse in my house today. So glad we were able to get it out. Shit was gross. And first mouse in a year and a half. I'm very glad of it, but it needs to be the last fucking mouse in this house. Sorry for that, but I don't even remember what I was talking about. It's just not important. My next note says Aunt May is busting it down sexual style in this movie. And she was. She really, really, really was. Marissa Tomei plays Aunt May in the new Spider-Man series with Tom Holland. She is a stripper in this movie. And she bears it all. A lot. Multiple times. Yeah. That was a something that a little me watching My Cousin Vinny, maybe would have dreamed of, right? And I imagine many, many other people. That bodysuit that whatever her wardrobe person put her in for that movie, great job. But get off of that. She was all over the film, in that regard. So, interesting to see, but also I feel like the emotional side of this character was really interesting. I thought it had a good amount of depth for for her profession, and given how film is, they normally don't, give that much importance to a character, to a sex working character. So you have to give credit to the writer here for giving this character some depth, you know, maybe a little bit of cliche depth, but depth nonetheless. And, you know, she has actions that are justified and thoughts that are really justified based on her character's previous, interactions and things like that. So at least she's very consistent, consistently written, and consistently performed by Marissa Tomei. I feel like it's really, really well done from her. She had a great performance, and I thought Evan Rachel Wood's character also had a really cool, um, overarching dynamic with Randy, in this. And then, you know, um, a lot of the wrestlers that were in the movie did a good job too. It was an R-Truth sighting. Love that. What's up? What's up? Oh, what's up? That's his theme song, if you're not aware. Anyways, my next thought little bubble says drugs with this emoji. And then my next note says, I love this non-glamorized look at the ADLs, the average daily life activities. I think. I don't. Maybe I should have just said average daily life activities of a pro wrestler. You know, going to the gym, tanning, having to just kind of get yourself ready. You don't really think of it as them being like, oh, an actor getting ready, or like, anything else. The professional fighters aren't waking up in the morning being like, oh, I gotta get my spray tan on, you know? It's just a different dynamic. And I enjoyed that aspect, and them showing that. And again, another reality check for wrestling fans who want to glamorize, or non-wrestling fans who want to glamorize. And it's to great effect, because it definitely got to me. So great effect. We got a break, and we gotta go take one. So I'm gonna do that, and I'll be right back. Basically, you'll get me in about 10 seconds, because it is 11:45 p.m. So I gotta go to bed at some point. Anyway, I'm gonna come back, maybe talk for, I don't know, 15 or 30 more minutes about this movie, and then I will be done. Welcome back to Self Tapes. This is part 2 of the show. We left off, I was talking about the non-glamorized ADLs of pro wrestlers. I thought that part was really cool. I already said that, and I said I was done when we came back. I'm going to keep my word. So my next point is him being forced into a death match because he has no money is brutally true and brutally honest. So that shit was hard to watch. I do not like death matches in general. Just not my thing. Just not for me. Just don't care for it. Do not have that that need for violence, or that much violence. And I just can't. I can't. Knowing that it's scripted, that is where the death of kayfabe becomes a thing, where it's like, okay, so then why are you doing this? That's where I am with it. And if you disagree, I understand. It's fine. I just don't like it. If you like it though, That's awesome. I hope it's great for you in the future and all that jazz. Just not a fan of death matches, but basically a death match, for those of you who didn't watch the movie and don't know, um, it is a match where routinely in at a wrestling match, if there are extreme rules in like WWE or AEW, so to speak, they'll use chairs and they'll do chair shots to the back, or they'll put the guys through tables, or they'll pull out kendo sticks and just things of that nature. In a death match, kendo sticks placed by a long LCD glass lighting. So like those long LED lights you see in like Walmart to like to light all those big sectional areas, just smashed onto people's heads, necks, backs. Just the worst shit. And on purpose, just the worst shit on purpose. Instead of going through tables and go through glass window panes that are set up between two chairs, people die, and have died in death matches, like during death matches. Many people have cut their jugular veins open during not on purpose, but during death matches they've cut their jugular veins open, and just honestly for me it just doesn't make sense, and it's not really worth it. It doesn't seem worth it, and it's not ever done on a big scale. So I know they're not getting paid for this unless they work their asses off. And when you are like landing on thumbtacks every night and you're like smashing glass over your head, that's not a viable like day-to-day type of job. And I mean, not even wrestling is, but more so than uh fucking taking LED pipes off your head. I don't know, man. Or LED lighting off your head. But yeah, I don't know. Not for me, but him getting forced into that death match because he has no money, and that basically being the cause of his heart attack, is really sad and really, really honest. And then to move on from that, to have him get that note in the hospital that says "Rest up, warrior," or "Rest up, you're a warrior," with his money attached to it. So insane, honestly. It's like so unhinged behavior from that promoter. Just being like, sorry, bud. Here's your money. It's like, you maybe want to do a health check on me before I get in the ring? It's like, you're good. No, I don't think I will let any doctor around you. I'm not gonna have any doctors around you, because why the hell would I do that when I can make some money tonight? um, he used to brag about his scars in the bar to Cassidy and stuff like that, and then after that open heart surgery, he didn't seem to want to talk about no scars anymore. And I have it written down in here that I feel like he's ashamed of it because he didn't earn it, quote unquote. Um, yeah, I feel like I was like a source of his pride. It kind of soured his pride, really, because he took so much pride in like getting those war injuries, so to speak. But at the same time, after he got that heart injury and had to get it, redone or redone, had to get his heart, cleared out with the bypass surgery. he really, it's really exemplified in that scene where he didn't mean to hit the mic there, but um, when he puts his coat over it, he just was really ashamed of it, and I thought that was really a cool effect. And again, one of the themes that is just completely unspoken in this movie, because a lot of them are just unspoken, just really well done in the script too. I would probably actually enjoy reading this script. I'm sure it'd be a fun read. Um, I have him inviting his child to play video games could have ended so much worse than it actually did. Them just actually only playing video games. Yeah, I was very concerned going into that scene of what was about to happen. Because so many things could have happened. The movie already felt like a seedy underbelly, so to have that be like a another aspect of like, and this guy diddles, that would have been weird. That would have been really weird, and I'm glad that was not the direction. I'm really glad it was quite literally. I may have just made a lot of noise. Uh, I'm just really glad that uh, that all they literally did was just want to play video games, or that all he wanted to do was play video games. Um, I think that was also like a tether back to like um, trying to relate to his child in some way. Uh, Maybe he is, disappointed that he didn't have a son. Just throwing ideas out. But my next note actually here says him blowing up in the woods after light running, and then that existentialism hits in, uh, kick, kicks in. Sorry. Um, Yeah, him getting really tired in the woods like that was uh must have been hard for him to deal with, and then having him be like, "Ah, fuck, this is never gonna be the same." And then him having that like existential thought of like, "Ah, God, this is gonna be how I die. Like, I'm gonna die because I can't wrestle myself, no pun intended, can't wrestle myself out of the ring." And he's just so addicted to it. There's no way he's gonna stop. No matter if he knows it's gonna kill him, he would rather die. Um, Something I can't relate to. I could not do that. That sounds insane. Nevertheless, um, I have it written down on my next one. My next note, I feel like the super alpha culture present in wrestling causes him to feel as though he has to rush back to the ring, quote unquote, the I'm fine mentality. Also known as men. uh, I just it really infuriated me, but only because of the realness of it, of him just being like, yeah, it's just a heart attack to that one guy, and basically ignoring the any advice that any doctor gave him, and maybe that was bound to happen, and he would have gone and on and done it anyway if he didn't die in that ring. If nobody had found him, would he have even, you know, if nobody had found him after that death match, would this even be a conversation, But who knows? Who really knows? Um, I've got the autograph scene in the small room where all the guys have a physical ailment of some sort and they're treated as cannon fodder. Does a great job at putting their lives into perspective and helping the audience empathize with Randy. I agree. Um, as well as empathizing with just all of the other characters in general. But I feel like, you know, Randy specifically, just because he's sitting around, he's just kind of put this heart injury under wraps and, is keeping it to himself. He's really only told Cassidy and his daughter, who does not give a fuck. Uh, he's really only told them. Um, and then he lies to his wrestling buddy because he doesn't want to, have anybody he doesn't care about know his business. maybe, or he, just is so prideful that he doesn't want to pass up. Pretty sure he's offered a match here, so I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to pass it up because he doesn't know how else he's going to pay his bills. So that's definitely a part of it. But I just really thought it was cool because it also perspectivized for him when he's sitting in that room with all of the other wrestlers, because I'm pretty sure he gets asked if he wants to wrestle before he walks into the big room with all the other guys. Yeah. Excuse me. And the reason that I find that interesting is because they have very tangible and easy to see out, off the body injuries, extremity injuries is what I should say. So like, guys with, missing legs, or they're in wheelchairs, or just, guys with physical disabilities in general. And he's looking around the room like, I also have a physical disability, but mine is like the death of me. Like I will literally, like that stops, I die. And he kind of has to like come to terms with the fact that if he wants what he is saying that he wants, he just has to kind of be willing to die. Which I think he kind of accepts by the end of the movie. Once he fucks up with his daughter again and she's really not having it, I mean, what else do you really have at that point? And that's what he's asking himself, and ultimately gets maybe the best of him. We never really see, but I would like to believe that he hit that ram jam and just never got up, because that seems most likely. My next point here says the way friendship between wrestlers is shown is incredible because it's nothing too personal. There is mutual respect, doesn't manifest in anything deeper than mutual respect. And when he sees an old mutual friend, he comes up to him, says something to the tune of "Nice to see you. It's been a while," but that's about it. Basically what I said earlier, but none of these guys are getting too close to one another. Maybe it's pride. Maybe it's something else. They probably think that the other person's trying to get the upper hand on them politically and inside the company and stuff like that. And it kind of just goes back to the thing of like, yeah, these guys are all just coworkers. They all want the same thing. They all want to get pushed more than the other one. They all want to be seen with favor from the company and the top brass, and just life shit. But it's all pro wrestling. So my next point here says Marissa Tomei's character dealing with all that rejection and in a similar place as Randy has a moment where she snaps back to reality and realizes he cares about her more than just the surface level, because he continuously comes to like come see her all the time and tell her about his life. And even though any other dancer would just treat him like the lowdown, I said it's cool that she realized that he what he was more than his service level, because any other dancer would have treated him like some low down simp that he is. I feel like that may have been a little mean, but he was pretty low down. He was simping, so I have to call it out when I see it. The most cringy part of this movie is when they Marissa Tomei's character and Mickey Rourke's character both bond over calling Kurt Cobain a pussy and saying the 80s hair bands were the shit. Just hilariously cringy. And then they said the 90s sucked. I don't know. It was like real Trump supporter vibes. Just kind of really threw me off. I mean, obviously this movie doesn't have perspective for that type of thing, being as though it came out 8 years before Trump was elected. But boy, oh boy, does it still sting to watch. I only have a few more. Well, I say that, and there's like 10 more. I have this note here that says he got the same validation, making people happy, working honest, and it probably makes him feel better. That is not the truth, the second part. It was a little naive thought from you there, past Hunter. But he does get a lot of the same validation from being able to perform for like the people that are trying to get food from the deli. He feels like he can kind of like perform it and work it. So, um, from that perspective, yes, that top one, that first one, but second one, not really. It does not make him feel better to work there. He likes wrestling more. I really enjoyed, sorry, the whole arc with his daughter. Thought it was really, 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 really well done. I thought that was like the most beautifully written part of the movie. And then, I mean, even in the way he squanders his opportunity to rekindle their relationship, I thought that was awesome. And just the pure storytelling aspect of it. Not that it was awesome that he got drunk and fucked some rando and then couldn't make it back because he was tired and missed their dinner because snorting cocaine and banging a hooker was more important. Not a hooker, I guess, but banging a random chick in a bar bathroom is more important. I don't know. Yeah, anyway. Uh, and then, oh God, I'm just gonna move on to my next point. So I have, she came to an understanding for who and what he is, and I thought so, I guess. It's another naive moment for me, and then she just really hates him. Uh, he reacted to getting rejected by Cassidy like an incel would. I'd be like, oh, since you're such a good girl. It's really cringy. Didn't like it. That was one part I didn't like. Um, that was one part where the writer's personal opinion kind of slipped through a little too hard. And I was like, okay, can we get this movie back on track, please? This is a little too much. Um, we have the bimbo that he has sex with in the bathroom has a fireman fetish. Uh, in that scene where he's explaining to her that he's a pro wrestler is so weird and gross. And he definitely fucked a girl that was like close to his daughter's age. So just kind of like skunk shit all around from Mickey Rourke's character throughout the whole movie, basically. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. Could never do that. Could never do that. And then his daughter's reaction to him missing is really heartbreaking. Her just like not even being able to get off the floor because she doesn't want to see him, and then telling him that she doesn't ever want to see him ever again. Can't ever imagine what that would be like. That would suck really bad. Um, my next point here says that it really sucks that he made such a simple and honest mistake that is going to haunt the relationship for the rest of his life. I mean, albeit his short life, but his life nonetheless. Um, I have her getting cold feet mid dance was really sad. I like the touch of her leaving the shoes in the club like a wrestler when they leave their boots in the ring, but when they retire, or sorry, in their boots in the ring when they retire. Yeah. So they did a nice, funny little mirror of when a wrestler retires, they'll leave their boots in the ring as an homage to the performing and everything. And so when Cassidus, oh my God, it's time for bed. Whenever Cassidy retires finally from the strip club, um, she is she leaves her high heels, and it's, in my opinion, and this is how I interpreted it, at least. I equated it to a wrestler leaving their boots in the ring. Just a fun little touch. Fun little touch. Conversation between Ayatollah and the Ram during the match was really good.
just sound, dialogue. Really enjoyed it. Next on there, I said, why is he milking the finish? Is it because he knows he has nothing else? And then my next note says he's literally going to kill himself for wrestling. That is probably the, most real thing that could happen here. And yeah, that's basically my last note before the end of the movie. And in my mind, he hit that ramp jam and just never moved afterwards. Already kind of mid heart attack, and he's taking, like 10 foot at the minimum fall. I don't want to say at the minimum. I'd say like a 7 foot, maybe like a 5 foot fall. But still, I mean, he's having like heart attack withdrawal, and it's flaring up, and it's just not great. Not, there's too much against him for me to sit here and be like, oh yeah, he definitely made it out. I'd just be lying to myself. So, I think he died. I think he died. I have 3 more notes, and this is just general stuff about the movie, so I'll get through them quickly. I have this movie was really well acted by Rourke, and he was nominated. I already said that. I have the editing of both the visual and the audio is incredible, and it very, very, very much is. The audio is really well mixed, and it's scored really well as well. And then the visuals, the editing makes this movie a powerhouse, honestly. So really good job to people on those crews to, make that such a paramount and important part of the movie. So appreciate that. And then I also have at the very end, I really enjoyed how dramatic the cinematography was. So yeah, Maurice Alberti did a very, very, very good job running cinematography for this film. And I think it was so, so, so good at catching like all the dramatics. It was great with superimposed lighting, with like a mostly like black background, minus the ring and the wrestlers being like super lit up, and then just some great shots with him flying through the air and just forced perspective with camera flashes and studio lighting that lights stages and stuff like that. Just thought it was all really good. Just a super well done movie, honestly. And yeah, that's my last one. So we're basically done with the review section. Now it's just time to put it on to the list. The list is, for those of you who are not aware, which I don't know who would be watching this is not aware, it is a list that I do for the show, and it basically is, just a way of looking at all of the movies together and seeing them all in one place, seeing how I don't want to say compare to each other, because none of these movies really compare to one another, because they're not all the same genre, and they're not all, they don't, you don't need a more explanation. I'm just putting a rating on the numbers and then putting them in a row. That's really it. But for this movie, I am going to go with an 8.3. Putting it above Lost in Translation for the number 1 spot. Sorry, Lost in Translation. You'll have to move over. But yeah, one week at the top for Lost in Translation. It's kind of what I thought when going into this one. Yeah, that's basically it. So now I'm gonna sign off. I will see you guys next Monday. I think it'll be like June the 7th, maybe, or dream of something. I don't know. You'll see me when you see me. Next Monday is when I'll be here. I will be watching next week. Shit, I should have that. Sorry, mates. Next week, I will be watching the film Portrait of a Lady on Fire by Céline Sciamma. So, very excited about that. Always heard good stuff about that movie. Very, very, very excited to see that. So, tune into that next week. See if it can beat The Wrestler for making that top spot. And yeah, watch Finding New Films on Friday. This upcoming Friday, we have to figure that out. As of right now, we have to figure that out. We were going to have Zach with a K come on to do more Vern Calair, although due to a miscommunication, Zach is gone. He lives in Los Angeles for the rest of the summer, and so unless we get him on Zoom, I do not think he's going to be the guest for this week. So we will see. I will let you guys know when I know, and well, I guess probably not, but nevertheless, you will see him at some point. So yeah, have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you on Friday.